So we'll say goodbye with our last song. It's Return Match by 이승윤. 교수님 같이 인사할까요?
네.
Alright. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Keep crunching.
기회를 잡는 것만으로도 충분해하는 것 조심할 때면 충분해 나의 담담한 마음이 주변을 슬프게 했던 어느 날 조심을 졸업하기로 난 결심을 한 것 같아 이기지는 못하더라도 멋진 각을 펼칠 거라고 다짐했던 말들은 오늘은 무효다
Introducing Korean broadcast content that you won't be able to stop watching. For weary modern souls, Dr. Romantic, the quirky genius doctor of Puldam Hospital, prescribes heartwarming tales of humanity. A couple together for 7 years sees their rose-tinted glasses shatter. Can they keep their relationship alive? Discover the raw stories of youth, work, and love. Beyond what social media can show, experience the vibrant Korea through its hidden gems. Mama, the ultimate K-pop festival for global fans. Find your star in a feast of trendy music and electrifying performances. Now, the whole world enjoys it together.
Following the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling against Trump's reciprocal tariffs, South Korea's industry ministry said the government will seek measures to address growing uncertainty for Korean industries. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is working to restore tariff pressure, saying trading partners want to keep trade deals in place. President Lee Jae-myung is hosting the Brazilian president at the Blue House for summit talks. They're expected to discuss ways to boost cooperation in areas including trade, energy, and technology. This year's Winter Olympics have wrapped up, and South Korea met its target, winning 3 golds, 4 silvers, and 3 bronzes, to finish 13th overall. Hello, and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. We begin today in the United States, where the White House is moving swiftly to restore tariff pressure after a Supreme Court ruling last week dealt a blow to President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Our Oh Soo-young has more.
The United States says its trading partners want to keep existing trade agreements in place, even after the Supreme Court struck down President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNN on Sunday that Washington's counterparts want to maintain previously concluded trade deals. He stressed that the court ruling only blocked tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, adding that the president still has other authorities. Trump has already moved to use them. On Friday, he triggered a never-before-used Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act, imposing a 10% global tariff. One day later, he said the rate would rise to 15%, the maximum allowed under the law. He also said new legally permissible tariffs would be announced within months. Section 122 allows tariffs of up to 15% for 150 days to address balance of payment concerns. Any extension requires congressional approval. Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, meanwhile, allows tariffs on national security grounds and has previously been used on steel and automobiles. The administration is also eyeing Section 301 of the Trade Act, which introduces tariffs after investigations into unfair or discriminatory trade practices. In Seoul, the ruling Democratic Party, the government, and the Office of the President held a closed-door meeting. According to Democratic Party floor spokesperson Moon Kum-ju, participants agreed that the swift passage of the Special Act on Investment in the United States is in the national interest. They pledged to process the bill by March 9th, as agreed by both ruling and opposition parties. Officials also shared concerns that Washington could invoke Section 301 and other trade measures, and agreed to refrain from hasty countermeasures.
I would say governments around the region will try to stay competitive in the U.S. market, avoid becoming the targets of the latest rounds of tariff, and position themselves as alternative manufacturing bases when supply chains shift. So you might see some quiet adjustments, incentives to attract relocated factories, closer monitoring of transshipment, and also more trade diplomacy, but not open bargaining power plays, because that is frankly not how Asian countries work, right?
Meanwhile, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer signaled that enforcement will intensify. He told media that investigations have been launched into Brazil and China under Section 301. He added that Washington will probe excess production capacity in several Asian countries, saying some produce more than they consume and distort global markets. Greer also said that the Supreme Court ruling would not affect the upcoming US-China summit, scheduled for late March or early April. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
And following U.S. President Donald Trump's imposition of a new 15% tariff, South Korea's industry minister Kim Jong-un says global trade uncertainty is set to grow.
Despite the U.S. Supreme Court blocking tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, Washington is expected to pursue its tariff policy through other means, adding to global trade uncertainty.
Kim made the remarks this morning at a joint public-private meeting attended by business groups, related institutions, and government agencies. He added that the government will continue friendly consultations with the United States to preserve the balance under the bilateral tariff agreement. The minister also said authorities will work closely with relevant groups to provide timely updates on potential tariff-related issues. President Lee Jae-myung is hosting Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva at the Blue House for summit talks. So the summit began this morning with an official welcoming ceremony. According to Lee's office, the two leaders will discuss ways to strengthen cooperation across a wide range of sectors, including trade, energy, and technology. Their talks will be followed by the signing of memorandums of understanding, a joint press briefing, and a state dinner. Lula is on a 3-day state visit to South Korea that began Sunday. Presidents Lee and Lula last met on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada last June. Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been re-elected as General Secretary of the ruling Workers' Party, reaffirming his position as the regime's top political leader. The North State Media Korean Central News Agency reported on Monday that the decision was adopted on the 4th day of the 9th Party Congress, with delegates fully supporting a proposal to re-elect Kim to the highest post. Under party rules, the General Secretary is elected at a Congress held every 5 years. A resolution credited Kim with strengthening the country's nuclear-based war deterrence and building armed forces prepared for any form of conflict. Party officials declared that sanctions and external pressure no longer work against North Korea. The United States and Iran are set to hold another round of nuclear talks on Thursday in Geneva. The upcoming meeting was confirmed by Oman's Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi on Sunday. The talks come as Tehran faces renewed domestic protests and the threat of a possible U.S. military strike. The Trump administration has expanded its military presence in the Middle East while pressing Iran for concessions on its nuclear program. Iran's top diplomat Abbas Araghchi told CBS he expects to meet U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff in Geneva, adding that there remains a good chance of a diplomatic solution. The 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympics have come to an end, with South Korea finishing 13th overall and meeting its 3 gold medal target, powered by short track success. Short track gold medalist Kim Gi-lee was named the Korean team's MVP. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
South Korea has achieved its goal at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, securing 3 gold medals thanks to a strong lead push from its short track speed skating team. The country also finished the games with 4 silvers and 3 bronzes. That meets the target set by the Korean Sport and Olympic Committee, which had aimed to win at least 1 more gold than at the 2022 Beijing Winter Games, where South Korea collected 2 golds, 5 silvers, and 2 bronzes. The decisive 3rd gold came Friday night when short track skater Kim Gi-lee captured the women's 1,500-meter title, edging out teammate Chae Min-jung. Earlier that day, the men's 5,000-meter relay team added a silver medal to the tally. Once again, short track skaters carried the medal campaign. They accounted for 2 golds, 3 silvers, and 2 bronzes, proof of the sport being South Korea's most reliable Winter Olympic discipline. Kim Gi-lee stood out as the only South Korean athlete to win multiple gold medals in Milan Cortina. On Sunday, she was named the most valuable player of the South Korean delegation.
There were many truly difficult moments, but thanks to everyone who supported me, I was able to endure them, and I will continue to grow into an even better athlete in the future.
The Korean Sport and Olympic Committee said she was voted MVP by South Korean journalists covering the Games. The committee has presented the award to top-performing athletes at major multi-sport events since the 2023 Hangzhou Asian Games. 이승재, Arirang News.
And as we have been reporting, physical AI has excited people with new cool tech and improvements in working conditions, while some are concerned about their jobs being replaced. Can politicians find the answer to make the most of this technology while protecting its people and their livelihoods? Our Kim Do-yeon spoke to lawmakers addressing the issue.
As the prospect of robots replacing human labor becomes reality with physical AI's recent rapid advancement, the political world has begun debating the subject. President Lee Jae-myung referenced the Luddites in 19th century to suggest you can't stand in the way of progress.
그 기계 파괴 운동이라고 사람들이 일자리를 뺀다고 기계 부수자 이런 운동이 있었잖아요. 근데 그 흘러오는 거대한 수레를 피할 수 없습니다. 결국 그 사회에 빨리 적응해야죠. 기술을 익히고 그걸 증기기관 기계를 통제하는, 조정하는 또는 만들어내는, 수리하는 이런 기능이 또 필요하잖아요.
Consulting firm McKinsey forecasts that by 2030, 800 million jobs will be gone due to AI, and South Korea is at the heart of it, with the highest robot density in the world last year. And for a lawmaker who represents Ulsan, often known as the industrial capital of South Korea, where heavy industries and auto plants make up the city's economy, the reality is coming fast.
If we simply resist this change, the outcome is clear. Companies will move overseas, jobs will vanish, and the very foundation of Korean manufacturing will collapse, dragging the entire economy down with it.
Meanwhile, lawmaker Choi Eun-seok has proposed a soft landing bill to complement South Korea's existing AI Basic Act.
We must prioritize education and retraining. By helping our workers adapt to new, complex roles in this evolving landscape, we can ensure no one is left behind in the transition.
While at early stages of talks, lawmakers are also looking at ways to make sure everybody directly benefits from physical AI and ease the concerns over job losses.
Instead of corporate ownership, imagine a citizen-funded model where profits from robot labor are redistributed back to the people. In the long run, implementing a robot tax or automation tax will be an inevitable necessity.
Most importantly, both lawmakers call for a unified national dialogue. They see this not just as a challenge, but as an opportunity for South Korea to lead the world in balancing innovation with labor.
As the AI era arrives, we must proactively address how it will reshape our labor and daily lives. Now is the time to pool our wisdom to ensure that human value isn't lost in the age of machines.
Now, with the transition to AI seemingly inevitable, the world is watching to see if business, labor, and both sides of the aisle can come together to set a new global standard for the future. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
A new girl duo blending traditional Korean elements with modern music made its debut just a month ago, bringing a fresh new sound to K-pop. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo has the story.
Surpassing 10 million views for their debut music video within a month, the fresh new duo dodree is drawing global attention for incorporating traditional Korean elements into their music while weaving traditional dance into their performances to create a lyrical and dreamlike atmosphere.
At first, it might feel unfamiliar or even difficult, but the charm, emotion, and energy of traditional Korean music can go beyond language. By blending it with more familiar genres, we wanted to make it easier for listeners to approach.
The name dodree reflects that mission, as it's a combination of the traditional rhythmic pattern dodree 장단 and the word free, reflecting their ambition to transcend genre boundaries through traditional sound. Youngju has trained in traditional Korean narrative singing pansori since the age of 3. coming from a third-generation family of traditional musicians, making the transition to dance an even greater challenge for her.
아리아리랑 스리스리랑 아라리가 났네 아리랑 아라리가 났네.
I've been singing my whole life, so dancing while singing was my biggest challenge. But practice is the only answer. I want to become a role model who makes others feel that challenges don't have to be feared.
And Songhyun, who majored in traditional Korean dance, hopes to incorporate even more traditional styles into their performances.
Since this kind of music has no fixed answer, finding the right direction is our biggest task. I hope to become an artist who brings both charisma and joy on stage, one day incorporating traditional dance elements, such as drum performances, like tango dance.
And it seems to be resonating globally as the duo says more global fans are engaging with them online, with some even calling them the real-life version of HUNTR.
Some said they burst into tears watching our performance. That made me feel that emotion can be truly delivered despite language differences. Like in K-pop Demon Hunters, just as K-culture blends naturally into the story, we hope to let the beauty of traditional Korean music blend naturally into K-pop.
Looking ahead, they say they hope to collaborate widely, even naming BTS, while expressing interest in exploring R&B and jazz. Despite their bold artistic direction, their goals remain grounded.
My goal is to always do my best with consistency, values that are emphasized strongly by JYP.
My biggest goal is to not lose myself as I continue this journey.
With humility guiding their journey, dodree is just beginning, bringing tradition into the future of K-pop while expanding the boundaries of the K-pop scene. 박건우, Arirang News.
This is the world now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. U.S. Secret Service agents shot and killed an armed man after he breached the secured perimeter of President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Authorities say the incident happened at about 1:30 a.m. Sunday when a man drove through the resort's north gate as another vehicle was exiting. He was reportedly carrying a shotgun and a gas can. When Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County sheriff ordered him to drop the items, he raised the shotgun into a firing position and was then shot dead. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were at the White House in Washington at the time. Investigators have identified the intruder as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin from North Carolina and says his family had reported him missing days earlier and believe he traveled south before obtaining the weapon. A box for the shotgun was later found inside his vehicle. The FBI is leading the investigation and says it is compiling a psychological profile, and officials say they have not determined a motive. A Mexican military operation has killed cartel leader Nemesio Oseguera, known as El Mencho, marking one of the most significant cartel takedowns in years. Mexico's defense ministry says troops engaged Oseguera in a shootout in Jalisco State on Sunday, critically wounded him, and he died during an air transfer to Mexico City. Oseguera led the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a powerful organization that expanded into an international trafficking network and moved cocaine and fentanyl into the United States. The operation triggered immediate retaliation. Gunmen torched vehicles and blocked highways across at least 6 states. Jalisco Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro urged residents to remain indoors. The U.S. Embassy advised American citizens to shelter in place, and major airlines canceled flights to the region. Greenland Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen on Sunday rejected President Donald Trump's proposal to send a U.S. hospital ship to the Arctic territory. Trump had posted on Truth Social that, quote, many people in Greenland are sick and that a boat with medical supplies would be dispatched to take care of them. Nielsen said Greenland provides free public health care to its citizens and does not need outside medical assistance. He urged Washington to engage through dialogue rather than social media announcements. Pope Leo issued a plea for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine during his Angelus address on Sunday, marking the 4th anniversary of the Russian invasion. Speaking to thousands in St. Peter's Square, the pontiff declared that, quote, peace cannot be postponed and demanded an end to the shattering of lives and families. With casualty figures now exceeding 1.8 million across both sides since 2022, the Pope urged global leaders to translate dialogue into responsible decisions to end the destruction. Chu Ji-han, Arirang News.
Dry weather advisories are in place for the capital area and most of the eastern parts of Korea. In particular, wildfire alert levels have been raised to caution in parts of Gyeongsang-do province, where a large wildfire has broken out. With dry air and powerful winds combined, extreme caution is required to prevent further fires. Meanwhile, air quality will stay bad due to yellow dust. Central region's Jeollado province and Jeju Island will be trapped in dusty air all day, with concentrations spiking into the very bad level at times. And after a spring-like Saturday, there has been a big drop in temperatures. Seoul will be getting up to 5 degrees. Daegu tops out at 12 degrees Celsius under mostly sunny skies. Then we're looking at a mix of rain and snow nationwide tomorrow, which may help ease the dry conditions. Meanwhile, temperatures will rise to the mid-teens starting Wednesday.
Now that's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back shortly with our live coverage of the joint press conference on the summit between President Lee Jae-myung and the Brazilian president. Stay tuned.